Hey, it's Mark coming to you. I wanted to show you how I like to cook an indirect heat source on the propane barbecues. So what I've got is I got a ribeye in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up. Just take a look what I've done, and the left and the right burner are on, and the center burner is off. Okay, so I've had this here for 5 hours now, and so I'm going to go ahead and just uncover it, see how it's doing. Okay, and you'll notice what I've done is I've put red potatoes in there, got some Brussels sprouts, an assortment of vegetables, carrots, and kind of letting it cook in its own juice. And by having the lid on it, let me see if I can get a zoom in on this. You can't really see it real good. Huh. There we go. There you go. I'll zoom in on it, make sure that you can see what I'm talking about. Just kind of pick it up and look at it. And what I've used for seasoning is Montreal Jack. Not Jack, but Montreal seasoning, steak seasoning. It's really bright out here. Okay, so that's about 5 hours of the prime rib. And what I plan on doing is taking that meat out whole and putting it on the burner to sear it, to sear the outer layer of fat. So the inside's gonna be really tender. The inners are, of course, the inners are gonna be tender, and the outer layer of it will be seared and crispy. Well, that's the goal. Okay, so let's just set this back down for a second. Let me work this a little bit. Okay, so you get a really good look at that. See if I can work this without breaking it all apart. If I can't, then I might try to do something a little later. As you can see, it's really tender. See that? Real tender on the inside, just right where I want it. So right now, just take off all the stuff on top. That's kind of what I marinate it while it's cooking with some onion topping, and I put a little bit of olive oil on that. You can see the plug has come out of it, so it's done. Kind of a nice feature, that you can get these little stats to indicate that it's done inside, so we know it's done. And what we're going to do is we're going to move this out of the way, stir up the veggies. You can see that's all real tender. It's going to be really good. See how it's just, the juices are just kind of glazing those potatoes and just adding additional flavor as it sits and stews in here. See that? And what you want to do is strain all this. You can strain all this juice out. You can make a gravy out of it if you want later. Make a soup, broth, whatever you want to do. So I just kind of like to mix everything in, get all saturated. Okay, flip it over. Okay, let's get the other side juicing a little bit. Just beautiful, the color on those spuds. This is what I like to call as a Viking feast. Okay. And although I do like to do open pit cooking and Weber barbecuing, I will typically hit the propane barbecue when it's raining or the weather's not very good, because you can keep it covered and just keep it cooking, and you don't have to worry about using the burners inside the house. Okay, so I'm going to move that over. Okay, move the meat to the center. See that? Okay. And we're going to hit this burner, turn it up, including the center burner. Let's see how it's looking there in the viewing. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Flame on. And we're going to let it sear for a little bit. So now I've got the meat over a direct flame. You can see I've got it burning down. It's burning down there pretty good off the juices. So this is really where you have to watch what you're doing, because that flame will burn the meat. Okay, I'm going to go back over. I'm going to let that grease burn a little bit. I'm going to come back over and cover up the potatoes and the vegetables. Man, that looks good. Doesn't that look good? Where's that frog? I hear a frog. At least the big rug mats up there sleeping, my chow dogs. I hope I'm not making everybody too hungry with this. Well, I know it's going to be really good. Okay. So, let me go ahead and cover this back up. Let's stew a little bit. We're going to take the direct heat off of this pan. So we're going to turn off this burner, the right side burner. We've got the middle burner on. We've got the left burner on. And we're going to work on searing the meat a little bit. So we'll see if we can't get this heat a little intense and take a look at it before I run out of time here on the old camera. And while we're doing that, Puka, say hi to the camera. Stoic. No, I don't have any food for you. I think I got something for him whenever I call him. Oh, yeah, you know it's not going to happen, right? Okay. All right. So in my opinion, it doesn't matter what type of, barbecue propane burner you have. Although I do like to get one that's got a little bit of room inside. So don't put a whole lot of money into these things. Also, it's important to have a top tray rack. As you can see, I've got a top tray rack there, and definitely want a brush to knock off all the charred material before you get going on this. Otherwise, it can really taint your food. Okay, let's see how we're looking in there. Okay. I'm going to char it. Okay, let's take a look at that char. Man, it's just, see how it's just falling apart? Look at that. Look at those colors. I'm going to sear and char. Okay. Those colors. See, that thing was falling apart on me when I was taking it, flipping it over. Man, that looks good. That is going to be really good. Good ribeye. Just falling apart. Boy, that's good. Took a little bite of that. Later.